There are two distinct types of color swatches inside of Adobe Illustrator. One is called global colors and one is called a process color. By default, you use process colors inside of Illustrator, which just means that each one of the elements inside of your design is treated as if it has its own unique color applied to it, even if you've used the exact same color swatch from the swatches panel. Whereas global swatches act as sort of a template of color that can easily be applied to multiple elements throughout your design. Let's take a look at exactly what this means. So here inside my example, I have two color wheels. The one on the left is the process color swatches, and the one on the right, which I can access by double-clicking the global artboard, is using global color swatches. So let's double-click on the process color swatch first. And then let's go into the swatches panel and see exactly what I'm talking about. I'll open up the swatches panel here and bring it out into the document, and then I'll expand it out a little bit so you can see it. Anytime you have an object selected on screen, you will notice that there is a little white outline around the current color swatch that it's using in the swatches panel. So right here, this orange color is being used by this particular element. When I'm using a process color, which is what we're using here, that means anytime I make a change to this color that's being used on this element, it will not be applied to any other element using that exact same color. So for instance, let's say that I double click on this swatch right here and we make a change to that, something kind of like that, and just hit OK. You notice that when that change is applied, none of the other elements which are using that color, and they all are, by the way, all of these colors are the same, they're just changed opacity to make it look like a subtle gradient. None of those change when I update that swatch. If I go to Edit, Undo Swatch Change, everything goes back to normal and none of the colors change. Whereas if I go over to the other artboard, double-clicking Global, and I make a change to the orange swatch over here, you'll notice it's not highlighted up at the top. It's actually down here at the bottom. And these little color swatches all have a small white triangle in the bottom right-hand corner. That indicates that they are a global swatch. That means anytime I make a change to any one of these swatches, every single object in my design that's using that color swatch will be updated with the new color information. So if I double-click here, and I come in to make a change to this, like let's say I add just a little bit more red to this and maybe back down a little bit on the green to make it a little bit more of a richer orange, and then back out on the blue just a little bit as well. If I were to click preview right here, you can see that subtle change in all of those orange elements right there. Let's do something a little extreme here. Let's change this, for instance, to a green color. Watch what happens to all of the objects using that color swatch. They all change to green. That's the power of a global color swatch. Now, if I move this back to change it back to orange, everything goes back to normal. Hit OK, and there we go. Our global color swatch has been updated, and anything using that color swatch in the design has been updated as well. Global color swatches are a great thing if you have multiple objects using the exact same color in a design. But how do you create a global color swatch? Let's take a look. First thing you want to do is create something that needs a global color swatch applied to it. So in this case, let's just grab some shapes. Let's grab some circles here. So we'll grab a circle and make one here, and make one here. Now currently, they're all using the same swatch, but it's not a global swatch. So let's change the color of these so that they're unique. Let's change it to kind of a light blue. And then once I have that light blue applied to all of these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this empty color group right here for process color. That's what it says when I hover over it, but we don't have any process color stored there. So we'll just use this as our secondary global swatch area. And what I'll do here is click New Swatch. And inside of this, there's a little check mark for global. So I'll hit that, and you can make any changes to this that you want. Let's make it just a little bit lighter blue, for instance. So my values are 89, 175, 255, and then I'll hit OK. Once I hit OK, all three of them change, and I now have a new global color swatch. Anytime I want to make a change to that color swatch, I can do so. I don't even have to be using those particular objects. I could be anywhere else in my document. Notice I have nothing selected. If I double click on that swatch now and make a change, like let's make this kind of a deeper, rich blue, and I hit preview, all three of those dots change. So all you have to be mindful of is this little check mark right here. And it does work for both RGB and CMYK color spaces. So it doesn't matter if you're creating for print or for web. You can have global color swatches and quickly and easily change everything that uses that swatch anytime in your document.